if we have turned the page on Kirby Smart as a coach, as a head coach, in that regard, hey, sorry, Chris, I know you hired me and got my start in college coaching and all that stuff, but we're just going to run our offense. If we've turned that page, look out, college football.
Welcome to My God a Podcast. I'm Jim Wood. In this episode, John Powell and I preview number 2 Georgia's home opener against the undefeated Samford Bulldogs, Between the Hedges. We talk about what we learned from Kirby's press conference, all 3 phases of the game, and we answer questions from you, our listeners. As always, remember to check out store.mygodapodcast.com to see our latest merch, and you can follow us on social media at MyGodAPodcast. Finally, we'd love for all of you to come join us at Dog Central. That's DAWGS Central.com. Now, let's join the conversation in progress. A screw top bourbon is much less dramatic than
you got the screw top. Ooh, I've already poured mine. Sorry, I might need another cube actually.
What do you have?
I'm continuing my walk with the Old Elk Weeded.
Okay, excellent. I know Hunter will approve of that.
Yeah.
Had you had that before?
Yeah. Okay. I have an Old Elk Weeded, and as of like a few weeks ago, I have the Old Elk Sherry cask. Or maybe it was a month ago at this point.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I still have yet to have that.
Yeah, you'll have to. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they have them. I've seen them at multiple liquor stores recently here in Georgia. So the next time you're in town, go hit up some liquor stores around town, because I've seen it at like liquor stores that I wouldn't think would typically have something like that. But it's been pretty readily available around where we live.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to check. I've got the Early Times bottled in bond.
Bottled in bond.
Yeah, it's a good one. So
classic.
Yep, that was the first ever Bulldog Bourbon Social Club recommendation that I bought, actually. So shout out Bulldog Bourbon Social Club.
That's awesome. Yep, that's a good one. Good value. So here we are. Another game week, Jim.
Another game week. I'll get right to where you were just saying, like, next time I'm in Georgia, I think I'm going to come to this game, actually. So
you think you're going to go?
I think I'm going to go. I just got to figure.
Man, I like this no soccer weekend gym situation we have going on this fall.
I know, right? Yeah. Which I don't remember how much we even talked about this, but like we recorded our Oregon review from Lake Hartwell. I was with my family at that point, and so I was having the conversation with everyone of like who's going to go to the game, and my brother-in-law was very appreciative of my logic, which was, it's like first home game as national champions. Kind of feel like I need to be there. So that was my logic. I felt like my logic was sound. So we'll see if that holds.
I don't think that there's any reason to not go if you have a free weekend and are available, and more importantly, you get Kim's blessing to go.
Right. Yes, we had the conversation tonight. She was like, well, I mean, you're going, right? I just assume you're going. I'm like, okay, I'm going.
Wow. I wish I could trade. I wish I could trade. I have to negotiate a little bit. It helps when you don't have little kids at home, I guess.
Yeah, very different. Very different when they're 13 and 16. So yeah, much different.
Yeah, and Ella can drive, her sister around.
Exactly. Right? Now we've got a driver. Yes. Yeah. Things are changing.
Meanwhile, I actually am probably going to be, depending on what's going on. I know that a lot's happened since we recorded, but I don't know if Carter's going to have a soccer game this weekend, so there could be an outside. I'm hopeful. This is another game time situation. I'm hopeful that I might be able to go, but probably not.
Which I skipped right through that. I skipped right through that. I should have hit that first, because although I'm up to date because I've talked to you, so I know what's going on. But we need to update everyone because we are recording a day later than we said we would, but with good reason. So why don't you you can retell me and let all the folks know what's going on.
Yeah, it was just a busy evening with Carter. We had a soccer tournament, a little 5v5 tournament with some of his buddies from some other competitive teams that these guys know each other. They play together on the Olympic team, and it's anytime we have an opportunity to play with some of these elite players, we take advantage of it. So
Yeah.
we played a little 5v5 tournament. We ended up playing. We ended up getting Bama'd, Jim.
Oh.
we beat the eventual champion in our first game and ended up losing to them in the playoffs.
Okay.
They ended up going on and winning. But anyway, in that second game, Carter made a save and was on the ground and took a shot to the face, actually. So he's in the concussion protocol, as they say.
Yeah.
So we went to PT Solutions, which shout out Paul Muchnick. He's a friend of mine. If you listen to Bulldog Brunch, I joke with him. If you listen to the Bulldog Brunch, you'll probably hear PT Solutions mentioned about 1 billion times.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah, totally, totally. I listened to this week, by the way. So yeah.
Yeah. So Paul's a VP. My buddy Paul is like a VP there. He's rose through the ranks from when that was like a small company, and now it's like this massive company. But interestingly, he's a Georgia Tech fan. Also, interestingly, he went to Samford.
Hey, they got all the tie-ins.
Yeah. So anyway, Carter's in the concussion protocol. Thanks to Paul hooking us up with a nice certified concussion specialist over there at the PT Solution. So,
well, that's not
a sponsor yet.
Not yet, yeah. But I was just gonna say that's not the reason we like to say sorry, Carter. But sorry, Carter. I hope you're doing better soon and out of the protocol as soon as can happen, I suppose.
Yeah. So today he went through, got his testing done, and they confirmed it through a battery of tests, which I didn't know that you could do that necessarily, but apparently you can. Anyway, so we'll go back tomorrow, and we're going to go back Thursday, and then we'll go back Friday, and then we'll see what's going on.
Yeah. Did he have to miss school and stuff, or was he able to go to school?
He was able to get through school, but I mean, he's definitely out of it. I've never, I've been hitting the head, and I've been a little groggy. Had a headache after playing soccer, and in my past life, concussions are those are a fairly newish topic, particularly amongst young athletes.
Yep.
So, for example, his age group wasn't allowed to head until this year.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't realize that there were so many symptoms and stuff like that, and I mean, he definitely was out of it and didn't look right, wasn't acting right. So he made it through the game, but when it happened, because it happened there's still 5 or 10 minutes left in the game, so he muscled through.
Yeah, didn't realize it. Yeah.
And in the end, he got in the car and was like, "Man, my head hurts. I feel dizzy."
I mean, not to be that kind of way, but did the ref evaluate him for a head injury? Because aren't they supposed to do that? The
ref did not evaluate him. Actually, in retrospect, I probably should have pushed on it. I actually I ran onto the field to see to check on him because he was down for a while, and went to check on him. He waved me off. He pulled a tough guy. We didn't because in a 5v5 tournament, who else is going to play goalie? There's we didn't have another goalie on the roster, so
yeah. No, that happened in one of Lily's tournaments last year. I think I told you about that.
Yeah.
So he didn't get the soccer spray on his head or anything. No, I was kidding.
He didn't get the soccer spray on his hair. He didn't get the magic spray. I wish they had a magic spray for something like that.
Yeah, it's no joke. Kim, I don't know. I to your point, I don't know if I've ever actually had a concussion or not. I probably did as a kid at some point, but
yeah, seriously,
I know. But Kim has as an adult. And yeah, man, it's rough. It's rough. So get better. Feel better soon, Carter, if you're listening.
Yep. He probably will be eventually.
I'm sure he will. I don't know. Once he feels up to listening to podcasts.
Yeah, I think he would welcome that, because right now he's on a strict 20. The doctor said limit the screen time. Gave him 20 minutes today. We'll see how he feels tomorrow.
Yeah,
he's sensitive to light and loud noises and stuff. And so
for sure.
we went for a walk. That was one of the reasons he was on the walk with me this evening. But ordinarily he would be at soccer practice. So try to get him on a walk, got good food, good sleep, all those things. And so she said that would likely be the best thing that we could do to get him back on the field
Yeah.
faster.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Well, thanks for the update. Yeah, I had actually. This is what I get for like when I write some things down and don't write other things down. I thought I would just remember to ask you about that. That's very fast there. My bad.
All good.
Really a good segue though. Yeah, so we got Samford in Sanford. Like say that 3 times fast. 4 o'clock. As we jump into a bit of the matchup notes. So the game's going to be on SEC Network. The play-by-play, if you are watching on TV on the SEC Network, Taylor Zarzor. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Do you know? I need a Scott Howard pronunciation. Taylor Zarzor is doing the play-by-play. We do have Georgia Bulldog great Matt Stinchcomb as the analyst, so that's great.
Okay.
And then Alyssa
He's
Lang.
good. No, I was saying he's good. Stinchcomb's good.
He is good. Yeah, I like Stinchcomb. I actually saw John Stinchcomb at the Oregon game, by the way.
Nice.
Random thing I recollected. Yeah, and then Alyssa Lang is the sideline reporter. So I don't even know how to pronounce Taylor's last name, so maybe I don't know much about him. I'm trying to think. I can't recall his voice. So I don't know what to say about that. If it's not good, you could always throw on Scott Howard and try to sync that up.
Yeah, well, you've got the technology for all that, Jim. I don't know if we can live broadcast your feed or not, but
let's see. Very important note. The official hashtag is hashtag SAMVSUGA, which, by the way, last week, as we talked about in the review, the Georgia game notes weren't out yet. And the official hashtag I gave last week was the one for the kickoff. There was another one for the game itself. So I guess there were 2 last week with it being a kickoff game. But this is the one and only, as far as I know, for this week. We'll say weather does look interesting again. So not super hot for this time of year. High of 76, but a chance of rain. Although we had a chance of rain, last weekend and didn't have anything. So hopefully that weather holds off for a game in Sanford and for all the tailgaters out there. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Does it say anything about swirling winds for the tailgaters out there? Might need to bring your weights.
I did not see anything about that. It did. I will say this though. Last week it was chance of thunderstorms. I feel like it was a little bit more, I guess, aggressive weather. It does just say chance of rain. It doesn't look like any. Although we're pretty far out, so who knows? Weather can change.
True. Yeah, I feel like we're in this stage right now of seasons. Where literally every afternoon is a potential for rain, because that happened on Sunday, right? Yesterday. It happened yesterday
Monday.
Here in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's how it was for us. We were on the lake, the kids wanted to go out in the boat. We were like, well, it's about to storm. And then the clouds just kind of stayed where they were. And so we ended up kind of wasting some time because we thought it was about to storm and it never did. We got out there in the water. Anyway, so it was good.
It was the opposite for us. It was nice, bright and shiny. And then all of a sudden it got dark and literally just poured.
Yeah. Wow. This was later in the day. I think it had rained in the morning. And so in the afternoon, we were trying to, we made it into a window, which was good. We had to go out in the boat a little bit.
Fun times.
Let's see. Samford, they are an FCS team, and they play in the SoCon conference. And then I thought this was interesting. So, I know you've got the game notes up. In the history and everything, I'm seeing that we're 1-0 against Samford all time. So this is only the second meeting. So do you remember when that was? It was actually fairly recent.
I was about to say, wasn't it a few years ago?
Yeah. So
I actually don't have them up, but okay. I do now.
So it was in 2017 we played these guys. So when Fromm was a freshman, the Rose Bowl team.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. 27.
Yep. So it was on September 16th. It was a 42-14 win. So that was, I was trying to remember, like, that's not a game that sticks out in my memory of that season. And so I went back to the schedule to be like, when was that game? So it was the third game of the season in 2017. It was the game that was in between the trip to Notre Dame and then that home win at night over Mississippi State with like the flea flicker on the first page, on the first play. So like, I guess, a kind of a ho-hum win over Samford in between those two games is kind of why I didn't remember when it was. But the interesting thing was, so when I was trying to figure that out, like I looked up the game notes from that game, and the official notes from the University of Georgia actually said that with the win, Georgia improved to 2-0 all time over Samford. So I feel like there's a bit of a conspiracy because everything I looked today said that was the only time we played, but back then they said we were 2-0, and I couldn't find anything else about that. So that was weird. So I guess whoever wrote the game notes back in 2017 in the victory got that wrong. That was kind of random.
Man, you're holding them to it. You're holding their feet to the fire, Jim. I like it.
Right?
You're just like Kirby in the fourth quarter. Like we're up big, Jim. Like,
sorry. My bad. This I think you mentioned, so you know this one. Samford's head coach, their head coaches.
Yes, I mentioned it just because I happened to glance at the notes when you had first sent them to me. Or was it Chris Hatcher or something like that?
Yep. So Chris Hatcher. So do you know his Kirby Smart connection?
Well, since I'm cheating, I have the notes in front of me.
Oh, so now you have that. Okay, that's right. Okay. So you can lay it on us.
So I guess Chris Hatcher hired Kirby Smart on his first coaching job at Valdosta State. So in a way, like we have Chris Hatcher to thank for Kirby Smart and his tenure.
Exactly. So there's a couple other funny things about Valdosta State back in that era. So first off, when Kirby was hired as the defensive backs coach in 2000, the defensive coordinator was one Will Muschamp, Coach Boom. So that's another thing there. And then also Chris Hatcher, he played at Valdosta State as well. So and when he was there under like when they first got good, when Hal Mumme was the head coach and Mike Leach was the offensive coordinator. So like back at that original staff, it was like Hal Mumme, Mike Leach. I think Guy Morris was on that staff. Dana Holgerson, had all kinds of guys. So that's actually kind of like where the birth of the air raid was at Valdosta State back then, and that's what Hatcher played under that air raid offense.
So you're saying we're going to see some air raid? Is that what we're saying?
It's interesting. Like I was looking at. I will get to that in a bit. I don't think it's quite. It seems to be somewhere in the middle. I don't know. Although I don't know. Maybe they just they definitely threw it more. They do tend to throw it more from what I've found, but I don't think it's quite. It looks like his coaching style isn't exactly as his playing style was, but we'll see.
We'll save the scheming for the Dog Central team. Graham and Josh are probably going to give us a good download on the actual offensive scheme and all the plays and all that kind of stuff. So head on over to Dog Central for the full breakdown of the offense there coming up here, I'm sure.
Fair. I did find some pretty notable former players from Samford, to go back to the Samford, because that was all kind of a bit of Valdosta State stuff on the Chris Hatcher side. So there's a couple with Georgia ties in a way, but I'll give one, and I'll give a clue. Well, there's a close Mark Richt tie, actually. So who would you consider to be Mark Richt's mentor?
Mark Richt's mentor?
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be Bowden, right?
Yeah, Bobby Bowden, Samford.
Oh, he went to Samford, or was a coach at Samford? Or?
No, yeah, he played at Samford. That's where he played.
Oh, okay. That's a fun fact.
Yep. So Bobby Bowden, Jimbo Fisher, and
wow.
Yeah, and then Scott Fountain, which Scott Fountain was on the Georgia staff at one point. He's currently on the
Hmm.
Arkansas staff. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting.
Man, didn't know Samford had it in them. As I recall, didn't this squad give Florida all they could handle last year too?
Yeah, yeah, no, and it was they were up at the half. Um,
Let's see
yeah,
here.
they were up 42-35 at the half. They did end up losing. Obviously, they lost 70-52, but they led them 42-35 at the half. And that was actually when Mullen was still there. So that was at the point where I think Mullen had like fired his coordinators, or I know he had fired Grantham.
Bless his heart. Golly, 70-52. That's insane. I really hope that they don't score 52 on us, Jim. I have
Yeah,
a feeling they're not, but oh man, those Bulldogs got some fight in them, don't they?
they do. They do. They do. Let's see. We can talk through Kirby's press conference. I've got three things. I'll be quick. One, Anthony Dasher actually asked Kirby Smart about Nazir Stackhouse's TikTok account. I thought that was hilarious. Obviously Kirby didn't have much to say about it, but that was funny. Which wasn't he one of the ones that we brought up with a dog
We
father?
did. You were talking
Okay,
about Nazir, yeah.
okay, okay. Let's see, and then
Big TikTok follower.
exactly. This was funny. So he had got a question around like the performance of the freshmen against Oregon, and so he said they have a lot to improve on. The most obvious is there was a lot of mistakes. I mean, mistakes that even they'll tell you are like we call them WTFs. There's like a lot of things that are like, why did you do that? So when a player messes up, Kirby calls it a WTF. So that was a funny one. And then on Chris Smith. So actually, we've now had 2 days of press conferences since we're recording a day late. Someone did ask about Chris Smith and just other injuries, and he said that he's fine. Chris Smith is perfectly fine. So that was good. Only thing he did mention was Nyland Green has a hamstring that's bothering him. That happened late in the game. Don't even know when, but it is hurting him, and he struggled. So that was the only update there. So that was it. There wasn't a whole lot coming out of the press conferences from what I listened to. Those are the only things of note.
Got it. I did not listen, so I appreciate that rundown, as I'm sure our listeners do.
All good. All good.
So
All right.
let's talk about the game versus Howard College.
So
Oh, wait, no, Samford. It used to be Howard College, right, Jim?
was it? I didn't even know that. Is that another? Did we just get another
Yeah,
fun fact?
I just dropped another fun fact. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you noticed that.
Amazing. I did. I mean, I picked up on it.
Yeah, yeah, yep. So in January 1866, the end of the Civil War, Howard College. Yep. That's
Got it.
that's what they used to be called. It used to be called Howard College.
I see that. I just saw that. I
I'm not
now
sh-
have found that on Wikipedia. I totally missed that.
I don't have any indication as to when.
When it changed?
Does it say when it changed? Yeah.
Um. Yeah. So it was in six. Looks like it was in 65. So in 65, they wanted to achieve university status. And since
Mm.
Howard University was already in use, they became Samford University in honor of Frank Park Samford, a longtime trustee of the school. So there you go. We give, this is the kind of analysis and breakdowns that you can expect from I Got a Podcast.
We're good. We're good with the searching and the Googles.
Amazing. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about. I mean, we can talk about like when Georgia has the ball. Honestly, like I pulled a few players from Samford because I kind of feel like. I mean, considering what our offense did against Oregon, like I don't really know what to analyze and say about Samford, our offense against Samford. And we've got a couple of listener questions that I think can hit on some of that. But I do have and maybe you can give us some of those things, maybe to look for because you're actually better at that than I am usually. But a couple of things I'll point out. Noah Martin, he is the leading tackler. He's a junior linebacker at Chattanooga. He wears number 32. When I say leading tackler, one game in, which they did beat Kennesaw State last week, by the way. That was an upset. Kennesaw State was like number 8 in the FCS, and lost an upset to Samford.
Come on, KSU.
Right. Let's see. Kobe Stewart is a redshirt freshman defensive end out of Alabaster, Alabama. He had a sack against Kennesaw State. He wears number 91. And then Cortland Marsh is a junior from Warrior, Alabama, and he had an interception against Kennesaw State. He wears number 1. So just a few guys, a few names that we may see get called out on Saturday on the defense of Samford.
Okay, got it.
So I don't know. Like, is there anything you're looking for out of our offense? I mean, like I said, I'm not really sure exactly what to say, considering what
I
we
mean,
saw
we have a
last week.
99.9% margin of victory or prediction of victory according to ESPN. They have Samford has a 0.1% chance of winning this game.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that we're going to be scoring some points. I guess here's what I would be looking for is how long the starters are in. I mean, that's
Yep.
really the name of the game for me is, exactly how long are we going to have the starters in? And I hate to say it, to your point about, Kirby wanting to not get scored on and all that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
keeping the starters in on defense. We pull the starters in the first quarter, but the starters on defense are in to prevent touchdowns from being scored throughout the game. So
Uh,
I don't know. I really would love this to be a stat building game for everybody involved. But at the same time, I have a feeling that here's where I'm at. Like, if I think we all can agree that Stetson Bennett has elevated his game.
mhm.
The one glaring hole is, like, Beck is the heir apparent, but I would
Mhm.
really love to see some depth building for this game. So if it's Beck, if it's Vandergriff, if it's Gunner, you know what I mean. So getting
Yeah.
those guys reps is super crucial to me. So I would love for us to get all the way down to Gunner in the fourth quarter and having him throwing touchdowns. So
Nice.
that would be great for me. That's something I'm seeing. The other thing I'd love to see is a Reek get some more playing time, because
Yeah.
I don't know, that just stuck out to me from the last game. Was like, man, for all that we heard about this guy, and granted he took a year off, so maybe it'll take him a while to get up to speed, but he's a freak athlete and didn't
Yeah.
seem like he played that much. So
Took a year off and was in a car wreck like right before,
he
like
was
two
in a
days
car
before a
wreck. Yeah.
game. So I did, and I didn't even think about that. Like when we were discussing that last week. I didn't
Forgot
really
about
think about
that.
that until just now. Honestly, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not. That's no inside sources or
It
anything.
could
I'm
be.
just
It could be. That's fair. Like, maybe
yeah,
they're downplaying that
yeah.
injury a bit. Maybe he's in the concussion. Maybe he had a mild concussion, Jim,
It's Ed
and
Carter.
they're just downplaying it.
Could be. Okay, no, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think that'll make sense. I would agree with that. Um, when
And will they score a touchdown? Like, that's another thing. We're talking about defense now, but yeah, will they score a touchdown? Those are the things that I'm looking forward.
dude, what a pro segue to talking about when Samford has the ball.
Yeah, I think the defense. Obviously, I think the name of the game is going to be is a touch. When this season do we think that a touchdown is going to get scored on the Bulldogs? Is it going to be in garbage time versus Samford, or is it going to be
Right.
in the national championship versus Ohio State? You know what I mean? Like, when is it? When is it going to be?
Yeah, which I feel obliged right now to point out that Dan Mullen's current playoff projection is what you wanted, what your playoff projection was: Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and Michigan.
Yes, just one, a couple. I mean, I think when is the playoff expansion happening? Is it 26 or something like that?
Depends. We'll get to that in a minute. It's 2026 at the latest.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, there's some fun with that later.
Yeah. Seriously.
Um,
So
yeah, yeah. So I mean, from a defensive standpoint, like, again, I'd love to see some depth building going on. Resting. I don't want anybody to get hurt. Like,
yeah,
that's another thing. Like, I want zero injuries, depth building, um, and just confidence building along the third and fourth string. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, that makes sense. I will rattle off some key Samford offensive players. Michael Hires is their quarterback. He was 18 to 24 for 289 yards and 4 touchdowns against Kennesaw State. Um, Jay Stanton is their leading rusher thus far, 16 carries for 90 yards against Kennesaw State. And they had, I mentioned the 4 touchdowns by the quarterback. So he threw 2 apiece to 2 receivers. Kendall Watson had 9 catches for 187. And then Chandler Smith had 3 catches for 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he threw the ball around a little bit. Didn't spread it around quite as much as Stetson. I think he threw it to like 6 different receivers against Kennesaw State. So that's where I was getting into, right? Like the air raid.
So Watson's their main go-to.
Yeah,
if he's only thrown for 289, that guy has 187 of them.
Exactly. So, and that's where, like, I don't know. I guess I didn't look at like how many plays did they run or whatever, but 18 of 24 passing doesn't exactly scream air raid to me. That's why I was saying it was somewhere in the middle. Although it's only one game, so we'll see.
He threw the ball less than Stetson did.
Yeah. So who knows? I don't know. Maybe that's just, maybe they were taking what the defense would give them. I don't know. We'll see.
Sure. Well, you say that, but like 16 carries for 90 yards doesn't exactly scream taking what the defense gives you on the running side of the game.
Right. True. Kennesaw State was a tough opponent for them. Kennesaw State, they're good. They were top 10 in FCS, so it's interesting. It's definitely a surprise that Samford beat them.
For sure. I'm wondering, was there, not to like dissect that game, but like, were there turnovers involved in this or something?
The only thing I'll tell you, I don't know. But what I did notice was that like Samford was up, and then Kennesaw State came back and took the lead, and then Samford scored like 2 straight touchdowns to win the game. I did see that. So
yeah, it looks like it was just a tight game.
I think there was like one. Crazy. Yeah, Samford had 1 pick. I do remember that. So
yeah, looks like they actually had 2 turnovers.
Samford had 2?
Well, yeah, 2 turnovers, and Kennesaw had 1.
Yeah.
Tight game. Maybe it's just not KSU's year. Sorry, Owls.
Maybe not.
But yeah, moving on to the rest of the things we're looking for.
On the defense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I want to see more of those young guys. I'm curious to see like if we see much or any of Bear Alexander. I don't remember if he played at all last week. Maybe he get some of the younger guys in. But we saw the young guys in last time against Oregon, right? So just more of that, and let them keep learning from their mistakes and continue to get better. But ultimately, yeah, I'm like you. Just want to see some depth and everybody stay healthy. So,
agreed.
I do have a couple. I have 2 notes on special teams. I'm going to start with a Georgia item. I'm going to ask this in the form of a question. Do you know who Georgia's holder is on kicks this year?
Oh, geez, Jim, really? I have no idea.
Okay, and to be fair to you, I learned this in the press conference. I did not, and I've even rewatched the game. Although I was rewatching the game, like I didn't pay attention to PATs. To be fair, but Stetson's the holder this year. I did not
Is it really?
notice that. Yeah, so like it's been. And so Kirby got asked about that in his press conference. So I kind of withheld that information. Sorry, earlier. But Kirby got asked about that, about like why Stetson's the holder. And he basically said that last year, Camarda was the holder and Stetson was the backup holder and Camarda's gone. So Stetson knew how to do it and he came in and do it. I'll tell you, like, Kevin Butler generally likes a punter to be the holder. I've learned this from listening to him on Bulldog Brunch. I think it's around like the kickers are all together, and so they can practice that kind of stuff more and be in a rhythm. Whereas the quarterback is obviously like practicing quarterback and not being the holder. But what I thought about now is you've got Brett Thorson, right? This guy's never played organized football until now as a punter. So I guess that would make sense that it's not him this year, right? To have the punter. He's never done that. He didn't grow up playing football. So that would be a new skill for him to learn. I don't know if they teach that at the Australia Kicking Academy, whatever thing he's at, Pro Kick Australia or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. He's a specialist, Jim. They kick the balls. They don't hold them.
Exactly. So that was that. And then the only other thing I'll point out is on the Samford side, their place kicker is a guy named Zach Williams. And just to call out, he was over 1 on field goals against Kennesaw State, and he also missed an extra point. He was 3 of 4 on extra points. So something to watch for, especially if there are swirling wins, which you asked earlier. Keep that in mind for your score prediction as well. A field goal may not be a gimme for these guys.
It's true. It's true.
All right, that's all the analysis I have for Samford. If we can go to the listener questions, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, I think I'm good with that. I think that everybody kind of expects. I think the outcome of this game is pretty much what everybody expects. I mean, just by the fact that I just got a text from my buddy Paul that I was telling you about from the Sanford. I had asked him earlier if he was going to the game, and he said that he turned those tickets down. He had no interest in dealing with the headache of going.
That's funny. All right, we can hit the listener questions. So first up, 51-7 GATA, which, by the way, I had already met him, but you got to meet him.
We did.
Oregon game, so that was cool.
Yeah, had you not been there, I probably would have walked right by him and had no idea.
Right? Yeah. You got to be on the lookout for his hat.
Was he wearing the hat? I don't recall.
Yeah, he wears one of those old. It's like the old '90s baseball block G hat.
Oh, you mean that? I thought you meant like the My God podcast hat. Got
it. Yeah. All right, so he chimes in. Now with the playoff heading to 12 teams, do y'all think there are schools having second thoughts about moving from one conference to another?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that people moving conferences at this point right now, like, I mean, the likelihood of there being more SEC teams in the playoff and frankly in the national championship picture are greater with 12 teams than they were without them. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I guess if you're moving to the SEC, you recognize that a little bit because of just how things have played out. Like, you increase your odds just by being a part of a conference that has better odds. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that I have a feeling that once these teams and once everything kind of nets out with who's going where, because I mean, there's even some of the conference drama, like, are they or aren't they? Like, I think even at the tailgate, people were talking about, like, is UCLA going? Are they not going? Like, what's going on with them?
Yeah.
The teams that are finding homes in elite conferences are eventually going to get paid out when those TV contracts come up for renewal. And even when they have more eyeballs at their disposal, I'm sure the conferences will probably force the network's hands to renegotiate deals and things like that. So, like, yeah, I don't know that anybody's necessarily regretting it, but I think that the lesser knowns out there, like, are probably regretting not joining faster or not trying to join faster. Like,
yep. I would agree.
How would you feel about being like Texas Tech right now? Like,
yeah,
or the Washingtons of the world, or, I mean, shoot, even like the Cincinnatis of the world. Like, you may have a better likelihood of getting in, but, like, at the same time, you're also not going to get paid, I feel like.
Right. Yeah. I feel like the teams that are moving right now, they were moving under the assumption that it was going to expand. So I actually don't think they're reconsidering it at all. I think they did it with this in mind, honestly. So
yeah, like, I mean, not only are you getting a playoff opportunity, but you're also getting the SEC payout. I mean, the SEC and the Big Ten have the biggest payouts, right?
Yep, for sure.
So adding more people to that pie isn't going to change that math.
Yeah, when we get there, we're going to be doing like our preseason over under is going to be like over under X teams from the SEC in the playoff. You know, it's going to be like 3.5 teams or something like that, right? That we're going to be talking about at that point. So,
right.
Then he had a second question, just to a funny one. Also, why did the Falcons build a dome where the sun shines in the face of people sitting on the 50-yard line? And he included a picture of the dome shining, which I was in the upper deck, so I didn't so much notice that. Great question. I should have asked Matt Moore that question. Maybe he would have known the answer.
So yeah, we didn't discuss this. I saw that question. I was like, oh dang, we didn't. What was the roof open?
No, it was closed. It was closed. So yeah, I guess the sun
It was
still makes it
closed,
in.
but the sun squeaked through. I guess I've never seen that before. So
I do question if that where now I'm trying to think of like which way everything faces. That could have been from because there's the window in the end zone too.
yeah, there's the window. Yeah,
So maybe that sun was coming from the window. It's possible.
that's my assumption is that it's coming from the window. But it could also be like it could also be just like strategic, right? Is it the opposing team's 50-yard line for the Falcons? Like I don't know.
Oh, I like that. I do like that. I like that idea. It's in their face in the sideline.
Visitors, it's in the visitor's face.
It's
Yeah,
strategic.
exactly.
Totally. That's totally it. Let's see. John Michael D. I like this one. Okay. What is the mantra after week one? And he gives us 4 options. In the defense we trust, in the offense we trust, in Kirby we trust, or redacted #sorry Carter.
I mean, it's got to be in Kirby we trust, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
like the classic "My God" podcast GIF. If you we need to have the account drop that. So
True. It has been dropped. We'll have to re-unveil that one. It's funny because I'll say from our perspective, yes, I agree. What's interesting is like I feel like in the past few years we've kind of heard a mantra come out of Kirby in the post game. Like last year, he said, "You're either a leader or you're not," in like the immediate on-field interview after beating Clemson. And I don't know that I heard him say anything other than like, if you look at like at the wallpapers that the school puts out, they have 4 things on there: toughness, connection, resiliency, composure. So I don't know, but I mean, we've been using those for a while, so I'm not quite sure. I'm still waiting to see if there is a team-wide thing. So I'm not sure that's exactly what you're asking, John Michael D, but I'm still interested there. But I think from us, we're still in Kirby we trust.
yes, given those options, I'm going Kirby.
Okay, agreed. And then he added, how many games do we play before the defense allows a touchdown? Then he said, for clarification purposes, a week 2 garbage time pick 6, like Beck threw against UAB last year, or a special teams score does not count. I'm don't know. I'm going to say this. Don't be shocked if they do give a touchdown this week, though, because like there's a lot of opportunity for backups to get in. And I think the last time we played these guys, we gave up 14. Don't be shocked if a young pup makes a mistake and they make it into the end zone in a game like this where we're not.
Yeah,
This is one of
seriously.
the games where like Kirby's worried about focus and all that kind of stuff, So like, don't be shocked.
Yeah. No, I would say that. Now I'm like second guessing my score prediction.
You got plenty of time to think about that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm just looking at the schedule. Yeah, I'd say we're probably getting scored on in South Carolina.
Yeah, I would think that's probably. I would agree.
In his definition of like, I mean, when does garbage time start? Is it start in the first quarter if the team's up like 20-0, and then all of a sudden everybody comes in?
See,
You know
this
what I mean?
is what we need, Josh. I can't remember the exact definition. I can't remember if it's straight up ahead by a certain number, or if there's time factored in. That's a good question. We'll have to ask. We know a guy. We know a guy who can explain it.
I'm assuming the spirit of the question is when do we think that we get scored on when the starters are in?
Sure.
I'm going to say South Carolina because that game's an away game. I feel like that's going to be 12 o'clock and nooner, SEC on the road. My money's on South Carolina.
I think that's fair. That's fair. Okay. Let's see. Zach, SC Dog 864. Over under how many offensive yards we have this week. He said set at 571, which was the Oregon game total. And he's added also feel like we see a big man goal line touchdown run this week.
I don't think we're going to see any big man touchdowns.
Fair. I don't think so either. So do you think we beat the offensive output that was set against Oregon last week? You think it beat 571 yards of offense?
I do not think that we beat the offensive output for Oregon simply because the starters are just not going to be in
Yeah.
for as long. I mean, you hope, right? Like, good grief.
Yeah, you're hopeful.
You hope that the offers you hope that the starters are not in for very long, which would mean that there's a drop off in production
Right.
over time. So if Vandegrift is in, I'm not expecting him to operate at an elite level with Stetson Bennett and, Kenny McIntosh and Darnell and Brock and all those guys. Like I'm hoping that we get a comfortable lead. I'd love to be up 30-0 in the first quarter and have everybody sit the rest of the game and just ride it out.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay. Okay, but to be different, I'm going to go over because we're going to see like Brock Vandegrift's going to throw for something crazy or something. That'd be amazing. Which I will say,
if we have turned the page on Kirby Smart as a head coach, in that regard, hey, sorry, Chris, I know you hired me and got my start in college coaching and all that stuff, but we're just going to run our offense. If we've turned that page, look out, college football.
True. That's a good point. And I mean, look what he did to Dan Lanning last week, right? I mean, no.
That's true. Fair.
And
but at the same time, everybody, I don't know. If he does that to Samford, is it going to have the same impact as something like beating a top 10 team or whatever, a top 15 team?
True. Good point. Fair. But I'm still surprised, compared to past years, the fact that Carson Beck was in there slinging the ball around. We usually don't do that. We have not done so much of that in the past. The backup usually tends to come in and hand the ball off. So
exactly. we had the Justin Fields debacle, right? Man, I handed the ball off good as F.
Okay, we don't talk about him anymore.
the man who will not be named.
Let's see. All right, next up, Frip Dog, my dad. How many, if any, gifts will come from this game?
Probably not many.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking probably not a lot.
Probably not many.
Unless there's something funny on the sideline, is my guess.
Listen. I hope that we have a fourth quarter Kirby rage stroke with them up 50, just like we did the last game.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that will become a GIF. Kirby rage stroke against Samford will definitely be a GIF.
Yes, because all right. So I feel like that we've gotten to the point now with the broadcast crews. They're looking for Kirby Smart to be just absolutely chewing some guy's ass out. I feel like that they are expecting. They're expecting. They're just looking for it. They're looking for for him to call timeout in the fourth quarter. They're up 30 plus points, and he's just yelling at people. Right. I know that they're just looking for it.
Right, for sure. And my dad added an inside question: Will Russ be in Sanford for Samford? God, oh my gosh! So I made the same it's hard to say those things back to back joke as my dad did. It's like he's my dad or something.
Say it once.
Yeah, seriously. So Russ is an old buddy. So my dad's my dad's best friend. His son Russ. Russ went to Samford. I meant to text Russ to see if he was going to be there. Right, we were in each other's weddings, old friend, and I don't know. So I don't know yet, Dad, but I'll let you know. My guess is no, because more inside sources. Russ may have gone to Samford, but he's a Bama fan, so I doubt it.
Oh, aren't they all? I feel like all the people that go to Samford are actually other school fans.
Yeah. Typical. Funny other fun fact: when I went to the Georgia at Alabama game in 2002, I actually stayed with Russ because he was in Birmingham back then. So
that's funny. We have a family friend whose daughter is actually a softball player at Samford.
Oh, nice. All right, let's see. Will Kaplan. Who do you wish we saw a little more playing time from last week that will pop up for more snaps this week? Actually, you already said earlier what my hope was. I
What did I
imagine you can
say?
guess. Reek. That was mine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so Ayrik is definitely up there for me. You mentioned Barry Alexander. I wouldn't be upset about that either. Like I said, I
Yeah.
mean, basically anybody that's on the roster that like was in the team in the like 10 or 15 or less snaps. Anybody that was on the team that was like 15 or less snaps, I'd love to see them all get
Yeah.
20 plus snaps this go around.
I'd like
I
to.
don't know. I don't know if my math checks out there, but
Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. Remember, there's no math on my God podcast.
there's no math.
I wouldn't mind seeing Dejon Edwards just like absolutely go off.
Yes.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That kind of stuff is what I'm looking for. Like,
Yeah.
let's get everybody involved.
Yep.
Like, this is the type of game that you have. Like, people always say, like, oh, the SEC, they schedule all these games. It's like, well, we also have to have games where we have, we don't have to schedule a tough opponent every single game because we play in the SEC. So you schedule some of these games so that you can build that depth. Like, this is part of the reason why you do this, because otherwise, like, these 5-star recruits that you're recruiting throughout the years that you're in school, like they don't get to see they don't even get an opportunity to sniff the field. So if you don't let them sniff the field, then there's no opportunity for them to move up their depth chart. So
Yeah.
we need reps for some of these young guys, if nothing else, than to keep them on the roster and keep them happy, and give them opportunities to get more name, image, likeness value.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Which apparently Stetson's NIL worth went up quite a bit this week. So good for Stetson. Good for Stetson.
Man, really? After Oregon? You'd think that it would have gone up after beating Alabama.
Fair. Yeah, seriously.
People are assholes.
Seriously. Sorry, Carter.
Sorry, Carter.
Next up, Jason Huggins at HugDog18. Appreciate the responses last week, guys. Tailgate this week. You coming? So I'll say this. I think I'm coming to the game. If I'm there, Jason, I'll be there. I'll come by. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, fortunately, like y'all's tailgate is like super close to the Attack Today tailgate up there, like the where Greg and them tailgate.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty close proximity. So
Yeah.
you could easily hit up both. But yeah, if I'm there, like I'm definitely hitting that up for sure.
Awesome. We'll give you. I'll give you a heads up, Jason, if I'm going to be there. I'll let you know. He had a Samford question: offensive MVP for the Dogs, and why?
For Samford, or
Yeah, who will be the offensive MVP of this game?
Oh, sorry, I misread. I thought he meant like who's Sanford's offensive MVP.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm assuming he means Georgia.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. I'll let you go first.
I mean, I feel like the issue here is you have to factor in how long are these guys going to play? Because like we had a question on Dog Central last week around like who was going to be offensive MVP for the Oregon game, and I was like, I'm going with the guy who was the offensive MVP of the Orange Bowl and the national championship, Stetson Bennett. So, but I don't know that how much he's gonna play, right? So, I kind of want to say Dejon Edwards. Is kind of what I want to say, but I'm not sure how much we're running the ball these days. And so I don't know. I'm not sure. It's hard because of the playing situation for this one. So I'll go with Dejon. I'm not sure that's right.
I mean, considering that he's on the radar now, I feel like Stetson Bennett's got to be the answer, right? Another beautiful game from that beautiful, beautiful man, Stetson Bennett.
Stickwavius. Can you be the MVP if you only play for a quarter? I guess you could if we're up.
Sure.
I guess you could if we're up 28-0.
I mean, if he throws out I don't know, like a 19 for 22 performance, 300 yards,
You know what? Okay, I'm going back to my answer to the Dog Central question. I'm going to predict that Stetson Bennett is the offensive MVP of every game until he isn't of one. Because we're 3 games in a
Yeah.
row at least. So
I mean, all right. So here's my thing. So if it's not Stetson, I got to go with Lad. I got to go with Lad McConkey.
I mean, you're
Because, dude, that kid balled out. Like, he absolutely made the Oregon Ducks look like they were amateurs, which is saying something because, we had Darnell doing Darnell things out there, and we had AD doing AD things out there, and we had Kinney doing Kinney out there. Like, so, but Lad to me was just, I mean, the guy was untouchable. They had no answers. I think, who was it I was listening to? I was listening to something. I can't remember what it was. I want to say it was ESPN. Maybe as a recap article. Oh no, it was Graham. It was Graham over at Dog Central. His article is like 12 things. I think it was.
Yeah.
He had mentioned that Ladd had receptions against like 6 different defenders or something like that, and none of them had any ability to defend him except for one guy. Like only one guy was able to prevent him from getting a reception. So like, I don't know. Like basically, they threw the kitchen sink at Ladd and they couldn't stop him.
That's a good answer. And the other half of the law firm. Which reminder,
The law firm.
reminder. That was a question last year. We had a listener question. What's a good nickname for the connection of Bennett to McConkey and the law firm? Because Bennett and McConkey is obviously a law firm.
Yeah, seriously, we need to get Hunter to design a shirt or something.
For real. Yeah, that's a great one. I think that's a good option.
I have an answer for earlier question that I just realized that should have been my answer.
Okay.
Who didn't get playing time that should get playing time this game? I can't remember his first name, but Stetson's brother.
Amazing. So that we can have.
We should see the first completion for brother to brother.
Right. Well, I don't know. I kind of want like a full, because remember the law firm is expanding at that point. Then it becomes Bennett, and McConkey. So if we could have like an end around to McConkey who throws it to Bennett, that would be amazing.
That would be phenomenal.
Okay. Yeah. So shout out Will Kaplan. He asked that question. So hopefully that now fully suffices.
Yes.
Okay, so this next one, I have a question to you as I'm reading this one. Is there something else going on here, or is this just the kind of questions we're going to get when Georgia's playing Samford? SEC historian chimes in, what is easier to make, spaghetti or chicken and rice?
I mean, is this a trick question?
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't understand what's going on here. So here's my answer.
It's got to be spaghetti.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, agreed. Yeah, for me, it's spaghetti. Rice is way harder to make.
No. I mean, literally, all you have to do is boil water and dump some pasta in for the spaghetti and spaghetti. But for chicken and rice, you got to cook the chicken.
Right. I mean, but if I'm assuming there's some kind of red sauce. We're going way too long in this, but I'll say this: I have Kim taught me like her spaghetti recipe, like with like a marinara sauce, and so like I know how to make that now without thinking. Whereas like if you told me to make chicken and rice, I'm probably gonna look up some stuff, and I could never get rice right. I suck at making rice, and our rice cooker stinks. If anyone has a recommendation for a good rice cooker, hit me up because I'm definitely in the market for one.
I'm gonna go some like crazy like algorithms in Facebook and Instagram on you. So like, have you heard of this guy on? I think he also has TikTok or YouTube or whatever. This guy called Uncle Roger.
No, I have not.
You've not heard of Uncle Roger?
No.
Check him out on Facebook. He talks about rice a lot, fried rice. He actually has like this like analysis of like famous chefs cooking fried rice.
Amazing.
And he absolutely eviscerates Jamie Oliver. If you know who Jamie Oliver is, he like just absolutely cannot stand Jamie Oliver's ability to cook fried rice.
So now my question is like, was SEC historian just trying to see how long we would actually talk about this? I don't know.
Yes.
So SEC historian, I have to assume we hit the over on what you thought we would discuss about this topic. So we'll move on. We move on. Let's see. Next up, Fletcher Proctor. If Georgia does go back to back and Bennett is the quarterback, does he get a statue the way Tebow got one after winning 2 titles in Gainesville? And if he does, can this GIF be the inspiration for said statue? The GIF being the GIF that was on the tweet, which was the Stetson winking GIF from the game. So,
Yeah, I have a feeling that the statue is going to be the one that I replied with, which is the arms raised. Like,
fair. Yes. Fair. Agreed. I mean, all I'll say is if that, not to get ahead of ourselves, but were that to happen, the answer should be yes. I mean, the interesting thing is like, I think Dooley is like the only one that actually has one on campus. There's a Herschel statue somewhere, but I'm not even sure that it's on campus. So we're kind of weird about statues.
yeah, we're really weird about statues because I feel like that Herschel should definitely have a statue.
Yeah.
Sinkwich should have a statue. Like, I mean, Dooley should have a statue. Rick should have a statue. Like,
right. Yeah. We're
going to have a statue by the end of his days. Like,
yeah. So that would be my only holdback would be our weirdness on statues. The answer should be yes, though.
yeah, seriously. Yeah, that's a good little wrinkle there. Like, why are we so weird about statues?
Seriously.
Is it space? Is it a spacing issue? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. Another question for Claude Felton. I have asked Claude Felton 0 of the questions I've said I would. Now I'm up to at least 3 now. So I need
if you get to the tailgate and you're talking with Hug Dog, I mean, Hug Dog has like buildings and stuff named after him. So like you could discuss these things with him. I have a feeling that he knows the people to talk to.
Amazing. Let's see. Next up, JT, aka the Dogfather. Hey, he's a former guest of the show. Also, call out. Didn't mention this last episode either, but did get to meet the Dogfather, or I got to meet the Dogfather in person at the Players Lounge last week. JT, it was great to meet you in person. Those good times. We did snap a picture. We'll have to make sure the 3 of us all get to meet up next time. Okay, how many times would Munson remind us to not overlook that little small school over in Alabama this week? The answer is all the times.
All the times, yeah. So the answer is whatever the answer is, I'm going with the over.
yeah, all the times. That was perfectly worded too. Trent Thacker, is this a clown or a college football coach? It was the picture of Geoff Collins at the Tech game last night.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the pictures of Geoff Collins in his slim fit suit, it's pretty funny. So definitely clown.
Yeah, it's definitely a clown. I mean, it's come on, man. Like seriously, like what are you trying to do here? Like all the way down to like the no socks and the loafers. Like
right.
It's just the guy just looks like he's and he's got the Waffle House cup. Like, come on, guy.
Yeah.
Just stop, man. I think that the funniest reply was 51-7 GATA was like it's like this French bulldog like standing up on his hind legs,
yes.
Like this big fat guy with the skinny legs. That was great.
I agree. That was my favorite. That was my favorite too. All right, that was the last one we've got. Other than cue music. It is time for Coach Trillbill's over-unders. As is the new format this season, we have 3 offense, 3 defense, and then 2 miscellaneous. On offense, over-under 7.5 touchdowns.
Over/under 7.5 touchdowns. I'll let you answer that one first.
Should I make the math work with my score prediction?
Jim, this is our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
Okay, I'm gonna go over. What do you got?
I'm gonna go. Hmm. I'm gonna go over
Okay,
as
yeah, you.
well.
Because reminder, now Coach Trillbill is actually tracking these, so you can't push on something that's a half. Otherwise, you're definitely going to get it wrong. This is my
Listen,
advice to you,
listen, Jim. This is our podcast. I can do whatever I want.
Coach Trillbill. Production note: if John says push on something that's a half, he automatically gets it wrong. Thank you. Okay, next up, different players who score over under 5.5. This is a good one.
Under.
You think under? I'm
I
going to
think
go
it's gonna be
over.
under.
I'm going to go over.
Ooh, I like it. Either way,
Uh,
I like it.
okay, new quarterback in the game, second quarter. So will we
Is this
see
a true or false? Is this like a true or false question?
right? So I hear it. I think of it this way: will we see a new quarterback in the game by the second quarter?
By the end of the second quarter,
Yes. Let's go by the end of
we'll
the second
go.
quarter. Yeah,
So new quarterback in the first half.
correct.
I would say yes.
I would agree. Stetson doesn't last the first half. I don't see that in the cards.
My hope in that answer is that I hope that Kirby saw the replay and saw Stetson jumping up and down in his celebration and saw him come down awkwardly, and I would say that he would probably want to reduce that as much as possible.
Agreed. I'm trying to, and I can't remember. I saw it too. I don't remember which. Was it the one that he ran in? I think it was the one that when he ran in the touchdown. There was an awkward celebration.
I
I
think it
could be
was
wrong.
because he jumped up into an offensive like lineman or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it could have been Darnell who kind of looks like an offensive lineman too, but and he like bounced off them and like landed awkwardly, which is just like the nightmare scenario for people with weak ankles like me. Like I saw that happen, I was like, oh my god, what happened?
You actually texted me. You were like, "Watch this space."
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, we will move on to the defensive over-unders. Over under points allowed 6.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over. Well, no, I'm gonna go under.
Okay, I'll go over to disagree with you. We got to have some variety here. Um,
I'm going under only because I literally just said that they would score a first touchdown against South Carolina, and so
fair. Hey, but a garbage time doesn't count according to the way the question was framed.
yes, that's
Let's
true.
see. Let's see. Forced turnovers over under 2.5. It's a lot.
That's a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go under.
I shouldn't have prefaced by saying it's a lot because I feel like I led you, but I'm gonna also say under. I could see 2 in the cards though. I see 2 in the cards. Okay, this is a good one too, especially coming off one of your talking points from last week. Over under 3.5 sacks, where there were none last week.
I'd like to think that we get to the quarterback. I'm gonna go over.
Okay. Okay, because now Coach Trillbill does keep record, I can't just disagree to disagree, so I will say over as well. I think we do.
Although you did earlier in the over.
I did, but I can't only do that one time per episode.
New rules.
Things are changing. Okay. Okay, so for our miscellaneous, we got a special teams one, over under 0.5 special teams touchdowns for Georgia.
I'm gonna go under.
I'm going to go over. I think we're going to see a punt return touchdown. One thing we didn't really talk about was we had kind of or did we talk about this? I don't know if we did or not. We may or may not have talked about the fact that we'd questioned who would be returning kicks. It was Ladd, kind of across the board. I would love to see a punt. I feel like Kieris has been so close so many times for punt return touchdowns. I feel like this is one of those games where we get a punt return for a touchdown. So I'm going to go over.
You think he's going to break one?
Yeah, someone will. Whether it's Ladd or Kieris, I think a punt return would be. Either one counts, but I think punt's what I'm leaning. And then last but not least, over under 0.5 Munsoning moments.
I'm going to go over.
You're going to Munson more than once, or you're going to Munson more than 0 times.
Yes.
Can I ask a clarifying question? Define munsoning in this context. Just kidding. Like, I'm not really like worried that we're losing. I don't think. But like if I just throw my hands up and yell at something, is that munsoning? Because
I
I'm
don't
definitely gonna
know.
do that.
Was I munsoning when I was worried about Stetson celebrating the touchdown?
Yes,
I
fair,
mean, that's
fair.
that's a munsoning moment.
That's a great example. Great example. Okay, okay,
That's
over.
why I'm going over.
Lock of the week. Lock of the week. The over. Okay. All right, that's it for Coach Joe Bills over unders. Thanks, Coach. As always, we appreciate you. Um, okay, now we will get into our final predictions. So, looking at the line as it sits today on Tuesday before the game, the line was had we recorded when we had planned on it. I don't think the line was even out yet. But so now on Tuesday, the line is out. Georgia is favored by 50.5 points. The over under is 65.5. I went first last week. If you want to go first this week, or I'm happy to go first again. I don't. I'm cool either way.
Do we need to do we need to employ a coin flip in this situation?
Here, I've got something. I have something. So here's my analysis.
How does this math add up? Because the predicted score is, well, I guess, total consensus 65.
Well,
Okay.
Well, that's different. So you're looking at OddShark, not a sponsor. We should talk to those guys. I mean, we look at a lot of other stuff. Their predicted score is like based off of their kind of like their analysis or whatever. I did not mention the implied score. So the implied score, this week nothing is a round number. So the implied score would be Georgia 58, Samford 7.5. Like that'd be a push. So like 58-7 would be a cover. 58-8 would be a not cover kind of deal. So something like that.
Okay.
That's the implied score based on the the math of the spread and the over under.
Golly, but their predicted score is 21-46. I just don't see that happening. That's crazy.
Here's my thing. This should be like a name your score type game, right? So like as long as we can keep the guys focused, etc., it should be a name your score. I think we're going to get a lot of young guys into the game fairly early. I could see something kind of be a slip up. So my score prediction though is going to be a shout out. My score prediction is 51-7 GATA.
51-7. Yeah, I love it.
So that would actually be. Let me math for a second. That would be that would be not a cover. And
I was about to say that means that we're not covering.
It'd be not a cover and the under. I mean, this is a huge spread.
50 points is a huge spread.
Yeah.
I just don't see them scoring a touchdown on us, but I also don't I'm sitting here looking at 53-6. And that just seems really high. I'll go 53-6.
I mean, as we discussed, that could even be a touchdown with a missed extra point based on what we saw to those guys last week.
That was for you, Hunter. That's
good
funny.
times.
Yeah,
cool.
I'll go 53-6. I think they're good for a few field goals.
Good stuff. Another one in the books. Like I said, I feel like it should be a name your score game, but we'll see. We'll see how focused and locked in everybody is on Saturday. So what do you? So you are. So okay. To recap, I think I'm going to be there. That is the current plan. Looks like I'll be there. You're hopeful. We'll see. In part due to Carter's status, soccer schedule, I assume, right?
We'll see, but I think that they're expecting him to be there. I'm going to clarify that in the next few days. So
yeah.
Either way, he'll probably have to be there. Which his game is at 4:00, I believe, on
which is the same time as kickoff.
No, it's at 3. It's at 3:30. Sorry.
Okay. So either way, you're going to be. Do I need to be texting you updates?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to not text you? Let's get this cleared up now.
I
You
would
don't
say this
usually
is fine.
you don't usually like try to like not know and catch up, right? You're
Not for
cool with
games
just
like
knowing.
this.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It'll make the fast forwards easier.
Right. Right. I'll keep you
I
posted.
may even be listening, particularly if he's not playing. Be like, all right,
Right.
Carter, go sit over there on the sideline. I'm going to watch this game.
You can, and that's where you can either hit the app on the phone or whatever. Listen to
Exactly.
little Scott Howard on the sideline.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, okay. So speaking of, I'm going to give one thing really quick from last week that I didn't know until today. So the Georgia football released like the official like highlight video from the Oregon game. Uh, the Scott Howard call of like the Stetson. I guess I'll say scramble, right where he's running around and throws the law firm touchdown to Ladd was pretty good, right? Because like Scott Howard goes improvisational like at the
Yeah,
end.
I saw. I heard that. I heard that.
That was good.
I
That
was
was
thinking
good.
that was pretty good.
That was good. I like that one. I like that one. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what Scott Howard has up his sleeve this weekend for Samford.
Do you think that he like subconsciously like? Do you think that he subconsciously thinks about like I've got to have an iconic moment, like I've got to
I'll
have I'm competing against Munson kind of thing?
I'll give you a quick thing that I've heard him say. So I don't have theories on this. Well, I guess I kind of do, but I'll just tell you what he has said. He has said that in general he does not have pre-planned lines.
Uh
Um, he actually said the only one that he's ever had. I think this was pretty funny. Was Crumpton? Okay, Akil Crumpton. Okay, so he had like a long touchdown catch against Tech. I'm not even really sure which year it was. I think it was 17 actually. Um, and he had the line when Crumpton crossed the goal line. Howard said straight out of Crumpton because that was the same year that Straight Outta Compton the movie came out. And so he did say like that one he had in his pocket like all year, waiting on that one. But apparently, in general, he doesn't. As far as like having a line, he doesn't have them. So, but your question was a little bit different. Like, does he try to?
yeah.
My guess would be no. My guess would be no, but who knows? It's gonna be hard, man. It's gonna be tough and tough act to
Yeah.
follow.
That's a tough act to follow. He's doing pretty good at it
Yeah,
though.
he does a good job. He does a good job. I like Scott.
All right, man. Well, we've got another one. We've got another one in the books. Are we
Yes, sir.
tracking? How many episodes is this? I feel like we've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, this is number 80, episode 80.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man.
Nice.
It's pretty
80
crazy,
episodes.
right? I mean, we've come a long ways from like hey, you want to do a podcast?
Sure.
I need to go find. We actually tweeted that like in season 1, there was like that kind of how it started, how it's going meme going around, and
Yes.
I think I tweeted out like my initial text to you, and then like whatever we were at. So
Awesome.
yeah, man, it's been a fun ride. It is pretty crazy that it's been 80 episodes. I don't go into like I don't do like the episode counter, every episode or anything. Maybe we should start doing that.
Maybe. I mean,
We'll see.
there are some other podcasts that do that, but yeah. I mean,
It is funny that you asked that on like a round number, like 80.
yeah, exactly. I had a feeling. I had a feeling.
Cool. All right, man. Well, if you do make it, let me know. Maybe we can meet up at Hug Dogs Tailgate. Otherwise, GATA Carter. If you guys aren't there, and then yeah, man. I looks like as of right now, I do think I'll be there though. So should be a fun weekend in Athens.
Hey, man, enjoy it, and hopefully I'll see you. But if I don't, I'll see you on the next one. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.